Okay, hi. It's a big test for me today. So welcome everybody. I hope you can see me. If you're here with me, if you see a video, just click on it and I think it should be visible to you. So why don't you let me know? I'm testing StreamYard out and I have my mobile here too to see if I'm live. So if you can see me, if anyone is here, that is. Oh, I can see some eyes here. So it's kind of a test today. We'll see how it goes. I think if it's okay, I'd like to speak in English. And if you don't understand me right now, ooh, yay, thank you. Facebook user, it won't show me who. Uh, Someone's going to a room. Um, so what we're going to, there's also, yeah, what I was going to say, that if you don't see me, or if you don't understand me, there are some close captions that you can click on in the Facebook group. So if you maybe look around the video and you should be able to see it as well. So here it's large. Great. Okay, great. I did my hair. Thank you. Someone said that I'm very beautiful tonight. Isn't that nice? I did my hair and I did my makeup for a change. So thanks so much. Okay, so you guys are funny. All right, so let's start. Today it's an introduction. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the book. I'll talk a little bit about what to expect for the next 10 days. And then we'll get on to women in education. I think that the smartest way to do this is to first do my presentation here with you interacting with me through your comments. And then I will go to Facebook rooms where we could all discuss and converse. So if you agree with that, let's see how it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and present, and I need to press share. And I'm going to use this setting, I think is the best. So here we have Women Who Changed the World. And first, I want to ask you, where are you connecting from today? So I'm connecting from Czechy, Podkosírem, in my opinion, the most beautiful village in the world. And we have a gorgeous castle you can see here. And I live somewhere here. And so if you can write down in the comments where you are connecting from, I'd love to hear it. While you write that down, if anyone will write it down, or if it's too much information, I'll have some water. Prague, excellent. I love Prague. I lived in Prague for 6 years. Pardubice, you'll see a picture of me in Pardubice today because I lived in Pardubice for about 2.5 years when I was a child. So, excellent. More Prague. Great. If you can, I don't know if you can see it, but if you click on allow StreamYard to, I don't know what the exact title is, allow, oh, from Bozeng. Drhomne, I don't know that area actually. Or you need to tell me, I guess, in the Facebook rooms where it is. So if you click on allow StreamYard to show your names, then I will be able to see who's actually talking to me, because unfortunately I just see Facebook users. But maybe we'll figure it out tomorrow. We have 10 days. Okay, I'm going to go back and here present. And let's continue. Today's the first day of the book club, and I'm just wondering, what are your expectations from this book club? And I have some numbers here, 1, 2, and 3, to improve my English by following a specific schedule. In Britain or in the Brits say schedule. Americans, or my accent is Canadian, but it's American General English, and we say schedule. So it's quite important to find a specific schedule because you need to establish a routine to do regularly. So that's a great way to start with the English ebook reader. So is your reason number one? Is it number two? I just love books and I join every book club. And that's number two here. Or I'm just curious about what we're going to do here. And the word curious means zvědavá. So why don't you write it down, 1, 2, and 3? I'd be really interested in hearing your responses. Koptivnice. Ha! I was thinking of going there for a camp here. Someone's saying hello from Koptivnice. That's beautiful. Excellent. So 1, 2, and 3 here. And it's wonderful if you're number 2. Number 3, that's great too. But um, if it's number one, then I think that's the main reason to establish a routine. I think it's a great way to start with books here. Number 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3, 3. Of course, that makes sense. Great. All right, so let's continue on. And I had a phone call from my friend. I think she's having trouble connecting. Um, so why I chose Women Who Changed the World. Now, I did do it because it really interests me. I think that we women need to support women, and it doesn't always happen that way. And I feel a little bit bad for the men, but I think that for men, it's also really interesting reading and it's something to think about. So I don't think it's only for women, this book club. And some may think that women are now equal to men in society, and it may seem irrelevant or nepodstatný to talk about the obstacles or překážky women had faced, but I believe it's crucial or zásadní to learn from the past to appreciate the present. I can't see what I have here. To appreciate what we have today. Um, I don't think that in society, women and men are completely equal, and we still have a way to go. But I think it's really important to learn about what this book has to teach us about some of the struggles that women had to endure to get to advance in society. So that's my reason. And here are the chapters in the book. So there are 10 chapters in the book, and every day, mostly at 8 o'clock, but I have to admit that there are some days when I can't come here at 8 o'clock. So we'll try to find another date for those days. And here we have Women in Education. You can see all of these chapters, and I don't think I need to explain them. We'll talk about them in the future. And today we're going to talk about women and education. And I've divided it into talk about the women who promoted women's education. So mainly in the text that you've had or the listening, the audio version, they talked about Mary Wollstonecraft and Malala Yousafzai. So we'll talk about those and do a little summary. Then we'll talk about some famous quotations and their meanings. We'll talk about some vocabulary and phrases. I have to admit, there was only one word that I thought might be useful or was difficult for you. So maybe you will tell me more if there was something you didn't understand. And then we're going to discuss, this will be in the Facebook rooms, women in education and the role they have played in the past to the present. So I'm going to go ahead and continue and tell you a little bit about me. You might know my name is Caroline. I'm a native English speaker from Canada. Um, I was born in Toronto, grew up in Vancouver, but I was born to Czech immigrants. So I speak Czech. They spoke to me at home in Czech. I spoke Czech at home. And then I was put in kindergarten, I was put into French. So I speak French fluently too. I've been teaching English for 20 years, and I've helped over 200 students to master the English language. Uh, I'm currently focused on teaching adults through synchronous and asynchronous learning online using Zoom and Google Classroom. I'm focusing on online teaching because I've noticed that it brings a lot more to the learning process, because you as a student, you must do something regularly with your English. It's not enough to come to a course once a week for 60 minutes, but to develop or establish a routine. So there I can put some tips online. And so I have my courses in Google Classrooms with homework that I check. And I have an introductory course called Jumpstart Your English, showing you different apps and podcasts and things that are available on the internet. And then I have a continuation of that, Master English Speaking. Both are 8-week programs. In Master English Speaking, you get to choose your topics. So I give you a list of specific topics, and as a group, there are maximum 4 people in each of these classes, and you get to choose your topic. And again, I can encourage you to take hold of your learning process yourself. And I cooperate with several EU projects. I cooperate with Bronya Sobotka and other organizations, creating programs and educating the public. And one more story for you before we get started. And this is my journey. So I know what it's like not to be able to understand a language. I've been there many, many times in different languages. As I mentioned before, I only spoke Czech at home until I went to preschool. And so my mother put me into preschool, and I didn't speak a word in English. And I didn't even know the colors in English for preschool. And in kindergarten, which was a year later, that's předškolák, kindergarten, my mother put me into French immersion. In Canada, they have French immersion, which means you just go to French school. Everything is in French. And later, you receive some English classes. Although I was living in an English area, we spoke English in Toronto. So when I was 10, my parents were, they are big patriots of the Czech Republic. And so they moved back after the revolution. And so I was put into Czech school. I started attending navštěvovat Czech school. So you can see this is earlier in the year. I was still in a Canadian school. And then here's a photo at the end of the year. Here you can see me nicely dressed up. And this was in Pardubice, actually. So for whoever is here from Pardubice, I went to school there as well. And So it was a cultural shock for me uh, to be in a Czech system, although I spoke Czech. And a year later, my parents had some difficulties and we moved back to Canada. And I was put back into the French system. And by this time, I've forgotten most of my French. And it took me at least a month or two to adapt and start using French again. And if that wasn't enough, it happened again. So my parents moved back to the Czech Republic and another year here in school when I was 13. So I know what it's like to feel scared, helpless, and that you just can't understand the language. And you can feel even stupid sometimes. But I managed and I learned to adapt. And I believe that you can do that too. And there really is no other option. You can't run away from English, I think. Uh, it is a language that is necessary in almost every discipline or anything you do. Um, so I believe that you can do it. And my mission is to help people throw away their fears of speaking and gain control over it in order to master English speaking. Now, to continue on, here we have Women in Education. That was the chapter we were supposed to read. And we talked about predominantly or mainly two people, Mary Wollstonecraft and Malala Yousafzai. So I'm going to just minimize this if I know how. Nope. And see if you've written anything because I can't see your comments while I have that open. Thank you, though. Okay, great. No questions. So let's get into it. All right. Mary was born in 1759 and she died during childbirth in 1797. So this is some parts are from the text. You've read this. Mary was born in London. Uh, her family was not rich, but they educated her. Similarly, Malala's parents also believed in education for girls. You can see it here. So Mary taught at a school and worked as a private teacher. Um, and she wrote quite a few books. The first was A Vindication of the Rights of Man, and it was about the French Revolution. But her most famous book was A Vindication of the Rights of Woman in 1792. In it, she writes that men and women must have equal education. Boys and girls, she wrote, must go to school together. And it is with this, she also wrote a novel about about women where they don't feel that home life and taking care of children or rearing children is the only option for them. They want more in life. They don't feel fulfilled. Nebo naplnění, only with home life. So she was always thinking that women can do more than just take care of children, as long as they have that education as well. Um, so she was revolutionary in arguing for education and the need for autonomy for women. Autonomy means that they take care of themselves. They can take, right. And unfortunately, she died during childbirth due to complications with a blood clot and from sepsis in 1797 while giving birth to her second daughter. So that's Mary Wollstonecraft. And then we had a current story, Malala Yousafzai. Um, I believe you've heard of her as well. She was born in 1997 in Pakistan. Her mother and father believed in the education for girls or in educating girls. In January 2008, though, the Taliban said girls cannot go to school And on the 9th of October 2000, oh yeah, in the meantime, sorry, you've read this, but I'm just summarizing. She started writing for the BBC blogs under a different name, but the Taliban found out and they went to assassinate her, to kill her. And they caught to her on a bus and they shot her once in the head, once in the neck. But somehow, miraculously, she survived the gunshot wounds. And so she was then transported to Britain, where they took care of her as well. And ever since, she's been promoting girls' education around the world. And in December 2014, Malala Yousafzai won the Nobel Peace Prize. And she was the youngest ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize. So that's a little bit about her. I'm just going to check in if you have anything else to say about that. And if you like, we can also go to there. If you, nope, nothing to say. Okay. So let's continue on and we can discuss it a little bit more in the Facebook room where we can see each other and talk because it's difficult to do that here. Okay. And these are the quotations that I found for you. Of course, I clicked, there we go. So I found some quotations we can talk about, and maybe you can tell me what you think the beginning is always today. What do you think that means to you? The beginning is always today. Try to write it into the chat window here. If you have any ideas of what you could write, what the beginning is always today. Let's see if anybody writes anything. If not, I shall continue. Okie dokie. Uh, the beginning is always today. I don't know how you are about things, but um, sometimes I'm a little lazy. And and I sometimes say, oh, well, there's always tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. But you should always start today. And that's the only way. As soon as you get an idea or you want to, I don't know, exercise for me, for example, um, or even do this book club, any challenge that I may have, it's a good idea to start right away and don't leave it for tomorrow. Another quote of hers is, I do not wish them, women, to have power over men, but over themselves. So here, if you have anything, I'm going to wait again. And if you're not going to be talking to me here, it is not too late. Oh, here you are answering. Oh, how that's nice. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Maybe I have to wait a bit longer. It is not too late to do the first step, yes. And start right away with the beginning. Every day, perfect. Every day is a new beginning. You have to live now. How nice. And nothing will ever change if you keep putting things off. Yes, I think this is very closely to the meaning of that. And now we're talking about the second one. Let me return here. I do not wish them, women, to have power over men, but over themselves. So let's see if you guys had great responses. And let's see if you have anything else to say about that quotation. All these things popping up on me. Maybe I need to have this. So if I can say, I do not wish them to have power over men, but over themselves. It's not a power struggle of women against men, but for women to believe in themselves and to say, yes, I can do it, and just go and accomplish it themselves, not to wait for anything else that might happen, but to have that willpower, self-confidence, to be able to do that. Oh, here we go. So, my computer here. Okay. Um, so women have to manage their big and nice power and not only waiting for men. Go on, women. That's nice. Yes, exactly. Don't hesitate. Just do it. That sounds like a Nike commercial. Okay, perfect. So let's go to the next quote here. Strengthen the female mind by enlarging it, and there will be an end to blind obedience. I'm going to make it larger and wait for you for a second. Strengthen the female mind by enlarging it, and there will be an end to blind obedience. So, what do you think that means? I don't know if this is with, yes, it probably is. Trust yourselves, women. Girl power. Just be yourself, girls. Huh? Awesome. Are there any men here with us? But here, strengthen the female mind by enlarging it. It means that we have to focus on ourselves and try to expand, to enlarge, or to become more intelligent, to understand things, to learn. And then we won't be obedient sheep. Um, Especially during COVID, that's kind of an issue. People calling people obedient sheep, that they just do what anyone tells them to do. So, with learning or knowledge, you become stronger and have more willpower and believe in yourself and in your opinions. And you don't just listen to what others have to say. And then here on the other side, I have Malala Yousafzai. And this quote was in the book itself. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. So if you can try to write down what you think that means. One child, I'm going to make it larger. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. Oh, this is lovely. Inside light of every woman can go through prejudices, can pass through. So your inner light. I think I'll just close that because I keep on clicking there. Okay. Um, Here, one child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. So Malala is fighting for education for women or girls or children, really. And we can just all do it one step at a time in little increments and little pieces. The second one is, I truly believe the only way we can create global peace is through not only educating our minds, but our hearts and our souls. So here, I don't know if you're, I always do that. Oh no, it's my first time doing this through StreamYard, so I keep on clicking everywhere. Sorry about that. Here, every small step in education is important. Yes, and everyone can make a difference as well. And everybody is important, exactly. And every thought can move the world. That's great. That's the first one. The second one is uh, if I truly believe the only way we can create global peace is through not only education, but feeling it through our hearts and our souls, doing it as a whole, not only education, but how we are feeling and following our hearts. And the last quote I have is, when the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. So this thought is similar to this one. This is more about education, and this is about finding your voice. Uh, because oftentimes it can be for men as well, but women tend to lose their voice if they ever find their voice, and it is through speaking um, that they find their voice by speaking of their opinions, what they believe in, etc. So that's what we have there. Oh, this is nice. Thinking through hearts is a new big challenge for this time. I agree. Yes, to follow your hearts, to not just think with your head. It's dangerous sometimes because people think that power equals money equals, I don't know what, but we need to think about what kind of effect it has on us. Okay? Be brave and change the world. You can manage it. Women's power is moving. Lovely. I love it when your comments pop up. Uh, it makes me really happy. I know that's what Facebook does, I guess, but I'm like, yay, someone wrote. So thank you. Thank you for writing and communicating with me. I thought I would be sitting here by myself, talking to myself. So thanks. Okay. Um, and so here's the last quote, and let's continue. For vocabulary, this is more up to you because the only word I thought you might not know is vindication. Vindication is a noun in this form, but vindicate is also a verb. And it means two things mainly. The action of clearing someone of blame or suspicion. Že někoho, že za to může, blame, I forget what is it in Czech. Že to na ně dáš, right? That you blame them for something or suspicion, like someone did something. I intend to work to ensure my full vindication. So, or he was vindicated, meaning that he was cleared of blame. And then the second one is proof that someone or something is right, reasonable, or justified. So we had vindication and Mary Wollstonecraft's work, a vindication of the rights of women. And here I think she was trying to make it right that women should have rights if they are educated. So in Czech we have ospravedlnění, I can't even say that, ospravedlnění and obhajoba. So you have that. Do you have any questions about vocabulary? Anything you didn't understand in the text? Great, I'm doing this again. Great. Obviňovat, blame someone. Thank you. Yes, that's it. So I think that the text, maybe you'll tell me more, is pretty easy to follow. It may get a bit more difficult. This chapter was quite long. There are a bit shorter chapters too. And the next thing is more for a discussion that we will have in Facebook groups. And here are just some ideas. Maybe you've come up with questions yourself. What did you find the most surprising? What did you agree with? What didn't you agree with? Why do you think education is so important for women? What are some things we can do to advance the education of women globally and locally? and any other things you might come up with. So I'm coming to the end before we do Facebook rooms, if anyone wants to do Facebook rooms. Here I have any questions for this live session. I'm just going to wait a second because it's a bit slower when I stream it than it comes online on Facebook a bit later. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask afterwards. Here's just what we'll be talking about tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be talking about women and human rights. We'll be talking about predominantly for women, primarily for women, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Shirin Ebadi, and Rigoberta Menchú here. Then we'll again talk about some quotations and their meanings. We'll look at the vocabulary that is in the chapter, and we'll discuss about something that has triggered you, that was interesting to you, what you found interesting. And that's it. So I'll see you August 3rd at 8 in the Facebook group for Women and Human Rights. I'm going to shut down this Facebook Live, and I'm going to open Facebook rooms so we can talk together instead of just writing about the chapter Women in Education. So see you soon. Bye.